I have a confession. I just had a bunch of police officers in my studio because apparently in the time of Corona, it'd be crazy.
Corona crazy.
And hi, I'm Sybil, and I'm an esthetician and spa owner.
And hi, I'm Alex Ellis. I'm a body nerd and wellness expert, and we are business besties.
And bosses, running your own business, it's hard.
But we're terrible employees, so we're figuring it out.
I've already figured it out, but we promise to share everything we know about what it takes to get 6 figures.
And be brutally honest about what works and what totally sucks.
I'll be honest, a bunch of it totally sucks, but let's get started.
It so sucks. Yes, we, if you have watched any of our other episodes up on our YouTube, you noticed we are not in the same room together.
We are far, far apart from each other. It's super weird. I don't even know what to do. Alex, you're not next to me. I'm very sad.
I know, we are socially distancing.
We are.
So it is, I feel like I should document this for the aliens who will be watching these 100 years from now. It is March 20th, 2020. And it's the end of the world as we know it.
It's the end of
that song has been stuck on loop in my head, which feels wrong, but it has been.
Right? I mean, it's definitely been weird. It's been really weird, guys. And for everybody watching out there, it's been super weird, right? Super crazy. We're also live streaming this right now on Instagram. So if you're watching, it's been weird.
Yeah. And one of the things, actually, it's funny. I just got a text from a friend. We're planning on going on a hike tomorrow, but maintaining 6 feet distance, of course. And she is, she said, I don't even know what day it is anymore because her business and what she does as a physical therapist is she is in the room with people all the time. Like so many of you are, where if you cannot physically be in the room with your client, you cannot do your job.
Yeah.
And like literally this week, other than, feeling like I have way more time because I don't get to leave the house ever, it's been business as usual. I've actually, those of you who've been listening and following my membership saga, booked another 2 members into my group. Woo, woo. So I've been busy working and doing a lot of work. But for, again, those of you where this shit is different. Yeah. And so what we really want to talk about today is how to make money from home, specifically for those of you in this spapreneur element, how to do it, the tools to get yourself started. And most importantly, Ms. Sybil, what is that last?
And why you need to do it in this new economy.
Yes, because times are changing. It's different.
Yeah, it's all changing. And guys, if you've been listening to us, especially through our live ones, but even one of the ones we recorded, I've been talking about this before the kind of shit hit the fan. And this has been coming on, and mark this time in your calendar right now. This time next year is going to be radically different. We are sitting in a point in history where you are going to be, I lived through that, I did that, and nothing was the same after.
Yeah.
So I'm marking it like, remember when the internet didn't exist? No.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, even like, here's one thing. Again, as a business owner where I need people to trust technology and want to work out on the internet, this is truly like my time to shine. And I'm just, again, like we spoke about last time, just pivoting my messaging a little bit to really lean into, the fear of getting hurt while working out from home. So messaging has changed a little bit. The product hasn't changed at all. But one thing I did today, which I was just like, my goodness, why haven't I been doing this all along? I have health insurance through Oscar. They offer telemedicine. So instead of having to go to the doctor to get a prescription filled, I opted to text a doctor, which I was just like, wait, I didn't realize that was a choice. I knew that you could like phone in a doctor.
Yeah, you can call them, right?
Yeah. And they offer a text. So I was just like, hi, can you fill this prescription for me? It's a new one. And here's where I want to pick it up. The next morning I wake up, there's a message with a question. I answer the question. The next thing I know, the pharmacy calls me and they're shipping it straight to my house. That alone saved me 90 minutes to 2 hours of waiting in a doctor's office, and they're always running late, plus going to the pharmacy once to place it, a second time to pick it up. So if more of us are forced unwillingly into using technology that has existed or technology that will exist in the future in an effort to be more efficient and get more stuff done and be connected in a way like we never have before. Like, I'm all here for it. I mean, I was like, whoa, this is so cool.
Right. I mean, I know that I've used a teledoc before. Has anybody else used like a teledoc or anything? I know that I've used a teledoc before. I used it on a cruise ship, in fact, because I was super sick with strep throat and I was able to get medication like the moment I got home so that I could take care of like a strep throat problem. But I never thought about texting one. That's amazing.
Right. Yeah. So I think, well, here's another thought. Again, just like the fitness world, because I think people for so long, like there's almost in the fitness world specifically, like this false sense of security that if I go to a fitness class, I am safer because an instructor is watching me.
Right.
And the truth is, no, not really. And also, like, you don't necessarily know that instructor really understands biomechanics and efficiency, and they're actually watching you. If there's 40 people in the class, hey, guess what? They can't see you. Like, it's not possible. And so now is a time to just like step into, I can do this on my own. Like, I think that'll be another thing that kind of comes out of this. Like, I hope this self-reliance, like I can do this and I can use technology as a tool, but like I had to shelter at home for God knows how long. I really hope it's not too long, and figure stuff out, you know? And so learning to trust ourselves and using technology as a tool rather than relying so much on other people or the way it's been done.
Yeah. So, well, let's go ahead and talk about technology as a tool, because you've been doing it for a very long time. I mean, how long have you been using technology essentially to do your job from home?
I think my first digital product, I remember what I was doing. I went to go see a movie at the movie theater in La Cañada. What year was that, though? It was probably 2014 or 15, when I sold my first digital product. And so that was when I was like, oh, wow, people will pay me for something that doesn't require me to stand in front of them, which was great. I mean, it was great to walk out of the movie theater and be like, oh, cool, I just made like $100 while I was sitting here eating candy, watching a movie. I also just want to say passive income, which is like this term that's thrown around the internet, like, oh, it's so great, you get passive income. That is bullshit. Nothing about it is passive.
No. Yeah, no. Anybody who tells you that, oh my God, you're just going to be like sitting on a beach, drinking margaritas or whatever, Mai Tais, and just bringing in $100,000 a day, they're full of crap.
Yes. I mean, I suppose you could get to that place, but that is only after hard work. Like, I have failed a lot. I have shared with you many of my failures. And that gets you to a point where I'm like, hey, I know how much money is coming in this month and I know exactly how much money is coming in next month. And, you know, sure, there might be some attrition, but mostly like we're going up. You know, so it's been a while, and really working for myself as like, this is it. This is my main source of income has been the last 3.5 years. Right. Because I'm a terrible employee. Don't you ever forget it.
I know, we're all terrible employees. So one of the things I've seen with estheticians right now, as they are, and I'm sure this is salon people, pretty much any practitioner, right?
Massage therapists.
Right. Like even, I know that a lot of therapists watch as well, you know, and I mean, therapists is not massage therapists, but actually like talk therapists watch us. So one of the things that I've noticed is a lot of people, when they found out they were being shut down and they can't see people face to face anymore, and they can't be working on people anymore. So therapists, I'm like, okay, well, they think they can like just talk to people this way, like we're doing right now. Right. And for some people, I think that's great, but some people still feel they need like the fuzzies and they need to be closer. For us though, we do a physical job where we touch people.
Right.
And that becomes much harder. Same with salon people, you know, they cut hair, nail technicians, stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm not going to watch an Instagram live to learn how to cut my hair. That's not going to happen.
Are you sure?
No.
Are you sure? What about coloring?
I would rather, like, I don't have gray hair, and even if I did, I think it looks cool. So like I would just let it go.
Okay, what about your eyebrows?
I do my own eyebrows anyways.
Who helped you do that?
my friend Sybil Solon.
That's right. She did. She taught you valuable lessons. So one of the things that I think that I've seen a lot of, people in my profession do is they're like, okay, well, we're going to start an online cart so you can buy product. Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do like online consultation. And for me, I'm like, Alex, what did I ask you? I'm like, do people want that?
No,
they don't really want that. They don't want that.
Well, I think too, because again, I see this in the fitness industry, like literally open Instagram at any time of day and there's 15 people streaming a free class. And so to me, a service like that feels like the easy option that isn't necessarily the most long viable. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Like long tail. We call it like long tail, right?
Yeah. Like that. Go deeper, right. Like go deeper to what you can actually offer clients.
A pain point. You're solving a pain point.
Exactly. Here's an idea. I mean, I have an idea and let me know.
Gotcha.
Cause I'm thinking too of like what, again, specialties, I'm thinking just estheticians because I know you, like on the surface, I just do consultations, but really it's so much deeper than that. Like, we could be talking about, food, not to be recommending diets or anything like that, but like, hey, let's just talk about it. Like, let's talk about what you're eating and maybe do an overhaul to, help you decrease inflammation from the inside out. Let's talk about lifestyle practices. Like not only when are you washing your face, but how often are you changing your pillowcase? Like, I'm just thinking of all the things I've learned from you, ingredients, like that could be a whole thing of like how to read labels. Like what can you do to teach your clients to do the thing you do for themselves, knowing that they'll still come to you because you will always do it better?
Right. Well, and so for me, what I think when I was creating, things for my clients, first of all, you go from what is their pain point in this new kind of economy that we're coming to, which is very potentially something where we are training people to become distant. And we might be distant for a little while. So some of the things that are coming up is the fact that we might have like waves of this kind of coronavirus issue. We don't know the future per se, but we might have waves of this coming on. So we might have times where people have to hunker down and stay distant. Also, people might have fear and anxiety about being touched again, right? Some people might be okay with it, but other people might not. So people are going to also get used to just like doing for themselves. Right. And your industry, people have gotten to that point, right? How long have people been just kind of doing for themselves because of online stuff?
Well, I think online stuff has been available, but it's always been like in its own little island. And then there was like the in-gym stuff. And now everybody is trying it out. And so I still think like there are people who are going to go back to the gym. They're going to stay with the gym. They're like, hey, like virtual like wasn't for me. It worked for this time, but it's not for me. And like, even for myself, like I'm down to like make my own stuff, to like do virtual, but I do like going to the gym once a week to have somebody else yell at me and push me because that's something I can't do for myself, even though I can do all the other things. So I also want to stress that, going virtual, having an option that is virtual doesn't negate you and your expertise and the value that you bring.
Thank you, Alex. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Yes, that's why Alex is the anchor to this show. That's why she is here for us. But what is also the other thing about that is that we have one of the things that you're creating when you're creating kind of these virtual things is you are creating things for people where you are teaching them to do for themselves. So you're helping them become self-educated. And as they become self-educated, they become aware of your value.
Yes.
Right? So they're like, oh my God, you do so much for me. And I need to stay with you because you have so much value for me and you have so much knowledge and I want to keep seeing you. And therefore I understand what you do. I can do a bunch of stuff for myself, but I still can't do what you do because you still have so much more knowledge inside of you.
A thought that just came to mind too was, even if we cook from home, you don't ever say like, oh, I'm never going to go to a restaurant again because I got it figured out. Like you still enjoy other people doing the thing for you, taking care of you and like benefiting from that.
Because as I always tell people, I love to get served because I serve people all day long.
Yeah,
right. We still want people to do these things for us. And also it's good for them to check in on us. All right. Hey, everyone. I want to check in on everyone else. Speaking of checking in. Hello, everyone. I'm going to say hi to everyone.
You're like the cruise ship operator over there.
Hello, everyone who's saying hi to us. where we talk about all the new ways that we can be using technology in the new economy.
So another thing to think about too, because I know we glossed over it, but I really want those of you listening to spend some time thinking about what deeper service you can offer beyond just a consultation. And so this pain point that you mentioned too, Sybil, it's not just oh, I want clearer skin, but go deeper than that, it's, I want to be able to go out of my house without wearing makeup. Which also, maybe that's not necessarily the messaging right now because people aren't going out of the house. Maybe it's I want to feel comfortable makeup free. Even hairstylist, I want my hair to look as good on day or month 3 as it does on day 1, or something like that.
Or I want it to be good without having to style it. I want to be able to wake up and it just looks good, which is something I tell my stylist all the time. Listen, I'm not going to wear product. I'm not going to blow dry it. I want it to look good when I just walk out.
Yes. Yeah. So go write the first thing that comes to mind and then write the next thing and next, go deeper. So ask your clients. In fact, listen to what your clients say over and over and over and over and over again. Yes. Ask yourself why, 7 times. I want clear skin. Well, why? So I don't have to wear so much makeup. Well, why? Because it makes me feel more confident. Keep going. And that'll actually get you to the deeper pain point that actually will get your potential client to make that purchase. I feel too, it's anything that happens, virtually could also happen in person, but because you aren't physically in front of the person, they're not having all of the same sensory sight, sound, smell thing, that know, like, and trust factor. You have to almost be even more diligent isn't the word, intentional.
I was going to say intentional. And Alex knows, I'm going to be straight up with you guys. Alex knows so much about this because she literally sat for months on phone calls with people, digging so deep onto these, finding pain points for people over and over and being told no over and over again.
54 times.
Yes. So many times. And I did telemarketing for years, and this is how you find out about things. You get told no over and over again. And somebody's no, there's a reason for it. And that is the pain point that you have not addressed.
Yeah, that's a great thing. Right now, when we're all sitting at home, pick 5 or 10 of your best clients, call them up. Hey, can I just talk to you for a second about something? It's not going to take more than 10, 15 minutes. And just ask why do you come to me? What do you get from me? What are you worried about specifically about skincare or whatever it is? What are you worried about now that we're not going to be able to see each other for some period of time to figure out what is it that you're really able, but that they come and see you for, basically.
Right.
How do they describe you? Because those are the words you are going to mirror back to the internet in your marketing to convert lurkers to clients.
By the way, speaking of mirroring, you gave me a very good book about FBI negotiation. Do you remember what that one was called?
I can look it up right now because I'm on my computer.
It has an incredibly good section on mirroring.
Yes,
and
that's why I said that. Yeah,
the show notes once we talk about it, but it has a really good section on mirroring and how you can use mirroring. And mirroring is a thing that you use in sales, and a lot of estheticians do it whether you know it or not. You mirror to your clients. You also just often do it with your body language, but you can actually do it with your language as well.
The book is called Never Split the Difference: Negotiating as if Your Life Depended on It by Chris Voss.
Yes, a fantastic book. I'm nearly finished with it right now. It's a fantastic book. Thank you for the recommendation, Alex.
My pleasure. Actually, I started reading another book and I got really into that because I was I don't want to think about business right now. But the negotiation piece of it, seriously, it's so true. And I realized, after those 54 sales calls that I did where I was told no, I realized why they didn't work and how now my calls feel so different and more organic because really it's just asking questions. Oh, tell me more about why your shoulder hurts, or, again, these principles of mirroring and whatever. And negotiation, whether you are trying to make a sale or you're trying to get a customer to, book in, or you're just trying to get your kid to put the dishes away. It's all the same. It's all the same.
It's true. It's true. If anybody who's watching us live has any questions, go ahead and start asking. We'll make sure we address them. Whether it's questions about sales, new economy, the stuff that's happening, we'll make sure we'll get to them. Okay. Maybe you're just enjoying listening, and that's fine too.
Yes. And I would say, figuring out pain points, figuring out, like what service, spend like an hour doing this before you set up any website or tools, because how you talk about your service on your website depends on who you're serving and how you serve them.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I just watched, so I talk about the tool Dubb all the time, D-U-B-B. I talk about it all the time. I use it all the time. They just did a huge launch. One of the cool things that's happening right now is all of these online tools that are out there, which we'll talk about a couple of them that we really like. That way, like ones that we use specifically and can go out and kind of help you and find them. That one I use all the time. It's online video and mobile video that I use constantly to send out emails to people. And they just did a huge launch. And one of the nice things about these tools is they're doing all these launches right now because they know 100% that people are going to be using these tools hardcore over the next year. And so they just did a video about how to ask your why. And they did a video about how to specifically use video for your landing pages. But one of the questions that they made sure people asked was like, what are your pain points? And I was like, this is such an incredibly good video for anybody who does not understand how to ask pain points to create landing pages and your web page.
Yeah. Actually, I just thought of some more questions. And now, again, since we're remote, I have my, fat stack of papers here. Here it is. But something, a good question to ask. Again, you're picking 5 to 10 of like your best clients. Tell me what it was like before we started working together. And so, I think, again, you and me, my relationship with you, my skin was always broken out. I thought that was just something I had to live with. I was really pissed because it was supposed to be teenage acne. And now I'm like 28 and I still have it. This is bullshit. And I was always like product jumping and I never understood like what actually worked and what didn't work. Those kinds of things, because how they describe that problem is, again, literally what you then take and you package and you deliver it to potential clients.
So when I do intake forms on clients, so when I do a conversation with a client when they first do an intake, I literally type down exactly what they say to me. And Alex, I believe she said exactly, I thought I wasn't supposed to have forever acne. And so you write down what they say because you're going to eventually say that thing back to them. And whether you say it back to them because you want them to hear what they said to you, so you know that you're finished with that conversation. You're like, okay, so you don't care about the lines that made you look like Skeletor?
No.
Right? Or you're just going to say them because you're going to then utilize them later for other people.
Yeah. And I think too, as experts, like we know so much more, like we see so much more, but what we see is not really what our client is looking for. So it's important to use the words that they describe their problem with to mirror back to them.
It's true. And it does help. And I've actually started listening to my clients through Alex's ears as we've worked together on these things, because it does help when you listen to the clients over and over again, and the clients will often say the same things and you don't realize that they're all saying the same things, because especially with skin, I'm sure it's the same with body stuff, it's like, I hurt. You're like, well, what does that mean? I wish my skin looked glowier. What does that mean? Or like, It's so dull. What does that mean? It's so arbitrary what these things mean.
Yeah. And even, like the word pain means so many different things for different people. And I realize that what I would describe pain, when you have had it for a long time, you probably don't describe it as pain because you're like, well, it is how it is, Right. And so I wouldn't have known that had I literally asked a client, because we were having a conversation. She was on a retreat with me and she said, well, I feel like you've really kind of gone in a little bit of a different direction. And now you're really focused on people with chronic pain. And I was like, how interesting, because I know that your ankle bugs you all the time. How would you describe that? And she's like, it's cranky. And I was like, oh. And so I started using that terminology in my marketing. I remember
when you were like, I had this epiphany, Sybil. I realized that people don't think of themselves as having pain, but it's just like, I have that like knee that bothers me in the morning. I have this cranky ankle, and we've even had that discussion. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not in pain, but like, I do have like this back that sometimes gives me but sometimes I have right. But it's not pain.
No,
Right.
pain.
It's like when clients talk to me about skincare and they're like, I have these problems with my skin. I'm like, well, but like, and I'm like, so you like your skincare, but like,
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be using.
Or I'm very happy with my skincare. And I'm like, but like your skin isn't good. So therefore you're not happy with your skincare.
Right. Well, and actually that's another great question. What was the tipping point? What made you finally decide that you had to do something about your issue, whatever they said their issue was? That's a great question to ask them.
That's a good question. Guys, fire from Alex today. Fire.
Fire
from Alex.
Because I have also my crystals with me now.
Woo. Woo. I should call them hippie stones. I have hippie rocks in my car. So I have a fun story. I'm just going to talk about it for 1 second. So I was coming across the country with hippies in my car after college, and they left like stones all in my car.
Crystals, we call them.
Crystals of stones. And I call them hippie rocks to this day and I've moved them from car to car to car because every accident or anything I've ever had trouble with, I've survived and I've been fine. And it's because of the hippie rocks.
That's true.
It's 100% true.
I mean, they could also just be pretty rocks, but it's okay.
We're
down with them.
I'm fine with it. There you go.
All right.
Science.
Now that you know your deeper offering, you know what pain point you resolve, and you know how to talk about it. Now let's talk about building a website.
Yeah, let's do it. Because that's when you do it. Not just like, I'm going to build a website.
No, don't do like me.
Crap.
I've done that. And actually, I will say, I have been wanting to redo my homepage for months now. And I just suddenly have so much time, finish it this week. And I mean, even here's the other thing too, you guys, it doesn't need to be perfect. It will never be perfect. You can constantly change it. That's the joy of the internet. And
you'll probably break it a million times while changing it. And who's done that? Yeah, me too.
True.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I updated my homepage now with the marketing and messaging that I do now. And I couldn't even believe what was up there before. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is crap.
How long ago did you put that up?
Like a year ago. Yeah. Like it's not that old.
Let's just talk 1 second. So websites, guys, should be updated at least every year to 2 years minimally.
Oh yeah. Every
year to 2 years minimally. Okay. That's how often.
And that's not a whole redo. That's a, hey, let me comb through these pages, look at the copy. Does this resonate? Is this right? And one of the reasons I wanted to do my homepage is because I've been doing a lot more PR outreach and people land there and I'm like, this doesn't say what I need it to say.
Yeah.
So that's fine. So again, it doesn't need to be perfect. As far as like not breaking a website, one tool that I have used in the past, it's not what I'm currently using, but Squarespace is a fantastic option. I wish we could give you guys a code and be sponsored. We're not. Just go use it because they'll take care of you. I think it's nearly impossible to break your website when you're on Squarespace. I'm sure somebody has some horror story of it. But if you are afraid of technology, Squarespace is a great place to go because they have a cart. They got it all set up. Although you use Shopify, don't you?
I do. I use Shopify.
I
do like Shopify. So I looked at both. So as somebody who did her due diligence on both looking at Squarespace and looking at Shopify, I chose to go with Shopify. Mm-hmm. And the main reason was that Shopify was a little bit, for me, more robust for online cart options. Yes. And it had more versatility, like long term. But I also have like a coder in house because my man does code. So like I knew that if I broke anything, I'd be fine. I have found that the tech support has been absolutely fantastic with Shopify. Anytime that I'm like, I'm so angry and I can't make this work, somebody helps me and I'm on the phone and they're fine and they do function. It does function and it's fine. The 2 times that I've been really angry and really upset, somebody eventually has helped me, and mine are really edge case angers because like I used to be a coder, so I get very upset about minutia that nobody else would get upset about.
This is true, you guys. It's very true.
Yeah, it's totally true. Alex has heard me. I'm like, I do, and she's like, nobody else would care about that. I'm like, I'm so angry. It should do this. Why isn't it in the code?
Well,
I should have control.
No control for you. So I so appreciate you saying that because literally as I started talking about Squarespace, I could hear my brother in my head who is also a coder and an engineer just like, ew, no, Shopify. Right. So if you plan on selling any product, definitely go with Shopify because it's going to set you up for that. And I actually just had this thought too. You might be like, oh, but it's going to look like everybody else's website. No, you can customize it. But two, that streamlined checkout process, like I know when I'm on a Shopify website, and that's just one less thing I have to think about as a consumer to give you my credit card information.
Easy. It's so easy. So the Shopify also has made my once I understood like how to run reports. And by the way, the reason why you all can run reports really nice on Shopify right now, this girl right here, who's had all the phone calls with them, being all angry. All right.
This is terrible. Fix it.
Yeah, no. Why isn't this working right? I should be able to run reports better. So their report system is great. I can run reports. I can do my taxes on there. Not as in like, but you can do your equalization, your sales tax on it super easily. You can run reports really nicely. And these are all the things that we care about. Inventory is the simplest thing I've ever done now. And it used to be like,
it used to be a nightmare. I remember helping you one time and I was just like, I don't want to do this again. This is terrible.
It's so easy now. I love it so much. So Shopify has really helped me with all of those things. I also wish I could give you a code, but I don't have one either. But I really do love Shopify for that. I don't use it for my shipping because I don't do huge amounts of shipping yet. I do draft orders with it, and I can have like a whole conversation about Shopify with draft orders and stuff, which is essentially you can go into your store and create little orders for yourself and then ship them out manually, or somebody can come onto your store and they can go and they can, and then you get a thing saying, I would like to ship this to you. The orders themselves are not that expensive if they use Shopify Pay. It's like 2.9% for your credit card.
Thank you for mentioning this because I just have to say, you cannot do business on the internet for free. There will be fees, there will be costs. And as you have told me many a time, that's just the cost of doing business. So if you tell me that I have to PayPal you as friends and family so you don't have to pay the damn fee, no, you are a business. Pay for stuff, okay? Yes. Literally, that drives me nuts when people say this. I'm like, no, you're running a business online. Because the fees, 2.9%, like is not that much. And I would much rather have that than paying an exorbitant amount of fees to my bank to do credit card processing. So like let the Squares of the world and the Shopifys of the world, like let them have that percentage so that you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and the one thing that a lot of estheticians ask me is like, well, does it have an online booking system? No. So my online booking system is completely separate from my Shopify system. For many estheticians, that's a huge drama. For me, I like having them separate because then for any reason, I want to sell people things that have nothing to do with people scheduling. That's a beautiful world. So let's say in this new economy, you want to sell to people that are not your clients in your shop, you can do that. This is the world we live in now. You might actually want to do that one day. You might want to make a bunch of money sitting in a movie theater and not see clients at the same time.
Yeah. And, also social media allows us the opportunity to have essentially free marketing. Like you could pay, but you don't have to pay. And you can reach people all around the world who are into the same things that you're into. So yes, broaden your thought as to who could be your ideal client. I think it's super cool now that most of my members are not people I've even met. We met through the internet. So
it's true.
It's possible. True. It's totally possible. Actually, I wanted to add another tool. I should make sure I'm taking notes on all of these. But Square, who I used to use for in-person processing, like if I was teaching a class and somebody wanted to buy a pair of balls, I use it for privates, you're re-upping your series or whatever. They have like a mini online store, so you can manage inventory, you can run reports, all of that through them. You could also take money in person. You've seen their point of sale in a lot of restaurants and things like that. But they also have an appointments and a booking system that I use for private clients.
Estheticians really like that. They talk about it to me all the time. They're like, why aren't you using Square? And I'm like,
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really easy. And it used to have a fee and now it's free. So
yeah, now it's free for one person. So if you have multiple people on it, apparently it's not free, but most of us are sole proprietors. So it's not a big deal. I use one called Book Like a Boss. And for therapists and stuff, it's a really good. For estheticians, it can be a little challenging. I did have some workarounds around it. They're always updating it. For me, it was a very cost-effective way to do stuff. So you can always look into it, Book Like a Boss. It's a growing one. I always tell people there are some pros. I think there are pros and cons to any of these systems.
Yeah.
So it's hard. Everybody has to look into them.
And I will say, as far as some of the, like, I want to say like Vagaro, but that's not obscure.
People
so this
like
is
Schedulicity. So I've had a lot of people have talked to me about Schedulicity and Glow. Those are the other two that people have really talked up a lot for my industry.
Okay. What I was going to add though, if it's so obscure that the client booking doesn't quite understand, it's unfamiliar, it's not straightforward. It's like, that's one of the benefits of being with a bigger company is because they've done, that many more tests of the experience for the end user. So that's also like, think of how easy it is for your people to book, because if they're calling you like, I can't figure out how to finish this order or like book my thing, that's just going to cost you more time down the line.
Right. Well, it's one of the reasons why I did like when I moved to Book Like a Boss, because the system was so easy for my front end clients to use. They're like, this was so simple. And I was like, I know it's a pain in the ass for me, but it's so simple for you. So easy for all of you. I will say that one of the reasons people like Schedulicity in my industry is because it is very much like Lyft or something like that, where you get to rate the person who's using it. So let's say people like bounce on you, or they ghost you, or they don't give you a good credit card or whatever like that, or they're sketchy, you give them stars. And so you can actually leave them a review as
on Schedulicity.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Isn't that cool? So that's one of the reasons why when I talk to proprietors, they're like, oh, I like Schedulicity for this reason.
Okay, cool.
And I'm like, more people should be doing that, because that way we can be like, I blackball that person.
Yeah.
I taste their balls.
Yes. And if there's a tool that you're using now that you really like, send it our way. Yeah. Because there's so many tools out there, and you'll also start using one and just keep using it, because once you figure it out, learning a new one is just too much work.
Or just switching your people. Like, it took me forever to move off of Mind Body Online. It was horrifying. So it's hard, guys. I know it's terrifying. Other tools that are good, we should talk about for websites like WordPress. People do use WordPress.
I wouldn't recommend it.
But it's still out there. So
it's still out there.
It's still out there. It's not what I would say. Like,
yes.
As somebody who has 4 WordPress sites,
yes.
It's like if you try to get somebody to build you a website, they're going to recommend WordPress to you. They're probably going to build you a WordPress site.
You can actually find Squarespace people now, though, and probably Shopify too.
The reason why is because they're going to control your life with WordPress.
Right. So that's what I was going to say. My site is built on WordPress because I wanted to do a lot of custom stuff down the line. Didn't know I wanted to do it. But I also then went and taught myself code. So I know enough to get in trouble. But if you're like afraid of tech, don't get a WordPress website.
Yeah. So if you you're like, I want to control my site. It's a very simple site. I don't need it to do a lot of stuff. You can do one on something easy for yourself. If you wanted to do like a lot more stuff and you're ready to invest in something like that, then you're going to have a talk with somebody who does WordPress, and that's okay. It's perfectly fine. You can get yourself into a little bit of trouble if you try to muck about with it. But if you get the right coder, or you get somebody who's, who shows you the ways, it's okay. Like, I can go into my stuff and it's okay. I've had a few other estheticians who are like, oh, my person showed me how to use it. And as long as I just stay in these fields, I don't muck around with it, and I'm okay.
But if you, again, want a tool that's not going to break, use something else.
Because it does have to be updated, and there are things about it that have to be handled. But I like to talk about it because it is the one where you're like, oh, I heard I should be using this.
It's very true.
Right. I also want to talk about a tool called Plug and Paid, because I own it and I really like it. And what it does, it allows you to make anything into a shopping cart. And it's not that expensive. And I really dig it. And they just updated it. And so literally I can make absolutely anything into a shopping cart. I'm like, oh, that's now a shopping cart. And that's now a shopping cart. Now this is a shopping cart.
Meet your money maker, they say. I like that.
Yeah, I totally love it. It's a British company, and I use it for lots of things. Totally dig it. Plug and Paid. So 2 of my favorites I use are Dubb, DUBB, and Plug and Paid. Plug N with an N, paid.
Ampersand. Got it. It is in the show notes for you guys.
Yeah. So those are 2 that I really, really like, that are just super simple to use, and you can just get stuff running.
So what do you use your Plug and Paid for?
So I use that for my skin. I use that for my skincare
club,
my skin fitness club. Because I'll just be like, here, just go pay this. And it does auto pays.
So recurring billing, which actually Square does also. So again, this is why it's important to think about what you want to do before you start doing it, because you don't want to get knee deep into a tool only to find that it doesn't do something that you want it to do.
Which my Shopify would have, but it cost me more money to do it. Whereas I had plug and paid and it cost me a one-time fee and that was it.
Right. I love AppSumo.
We love AppSumo. By the way, I also love AppSumo. If you're not using AppSumo, it's like the Groupon of like tools. Technology. And like, I love it. It's so much fun.
AppSumo is great. I mean, yes. If you are just starting out, like get yourself a website, go to AppSumo, start paying attention to that and buy all the tools. They have a great deal.
Buy some tools.
For those of you who are listening who are like, technology, I think you have glossed over. You're getting kind of nervous. Take a big breath. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine. I definitely think, pivoting to online to just like keep yourself not afloat, but just like relevant to stay there for people when top of mind for when we do get out of this lockdown. They're still thinking about you because you've still been showing up for them in some capacity.
Right. Which, by the way, it was our last episode, how to show up for people and how to message. So now we're showing you how can you keep messaging and get money from that messaging. And also, I think it's really interesting. A lot of my clients, we're like, how can I help you stay in business? So our clients are concerned about us. They know what's going on. They're not like oblivious to the fact that we're all struggling. They want us to be in business at the end of this.
Yeah. I'm happy you said that too, because I did a Facebook Live class today. And then I pitched my program at the end. And I just like called it what it is. Cause we've talked about this too. It's like the elephant in the room. Everybody knows what you're doing. So like, don't pretend like you're not. And so I just said, hey, I'm sure you're thinking, what, a pitch? I thought this was a free class, but look, I'm a small business owner. I am trying to stay afloat. So if you like what I've taught you and you like what I've shared with you, I would love to continue to do this on a deeper level. And here's how we can make that happen.
Exactly. So, and that's the thing especially when you're pitching to like your friends, your clients who are essentially your friends, like be straight with them. And the people who are showing up, they care about what you're doing and they want to be part of your family. Yes. Right. That's who we're messaging to. People are going to be a part of our family. Right.
Yes.
So also I'm going to remind everybody, speaking of like, we're not pitching, but let's pitch. We help people do this. Okay. Yes. This is why we started Skinfessional. Yes. We want you to be able to go off on your own and out into the vast beyond and do this on your own. But if you think you need help, this is what Alex and I do. Drop us a message. We will put together a package for you and help you along. We have a dude who codes.
Yeah, I was going to say, we really full service here.
We have a dude who codes. We have Alex who knows the ins and outs of how to do this. I know how to do this. Together, we have the team who knows how to do this for you. So we are in a position to help you get up and running with whatever you need because we've done this, we've failed at it, and we've succeeded at it.
Yeah. I mean, that's so true too. We're like the brain trust of online business and also how to allow the two to coexist, to have the online presence, but then also have your brick and mortar because it's still going to be there when this is all somewhat over or just different. I just want to touch upon, this idea of growth because it's weird, it's uncertain, but growth never is easy because if it was, we all would have like read all the self-help books and like changed our whole lives already. And now we're all just we are being forced into it unwillingly. And so just know, the mantra that came to mind for me this morning was the only constant in life is change. And so we are in a dramatic change right now, but it's going to be different tomorrow. It's going to be different the day after that. So just like buckle up, prepare yourself, prepare your heart, find ways to elevate your energy. If you are just like wallowing, like feel all the feels and then dust yourself off and figure out what your next step is to keep yourself afloat as we navigate these times.
Yeah. And also I'm going to add to that. That's very powerful because I think that the other thing is people are living in fear. And I'm going to go to the old solid. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And I think a lot of us, and I think our clients are living a lot of it in fear right now. And they're kind of mired in it a little bit. And so our job is to pull ourselves up and out of it. And I've fallen into a couple times where I'm just like, whew, it's getting serious. And then you just kind of like let it run through you, feel the feels, and then let it pass through you. Mm-hmm. And then let yourself be yourself again.
Yeah. Yeah. And don't be afraid to take risks and try new things and do something crazy like go live on Instagram, start the podcast you've always wanted to start and build the website you want to build. Maybe you've had this idea for something unrelated to skincare and or whatever your, primary thing is. And you've just been doing that because that's been the easy thing. Well, hey, now's the time, like try the new thing. Mm-hmm. You can't go in and do the thing that you've been wanting to do. So whatever it is, like just run with it, try it because we're all flailing. So you can't really fail.
Right. It's a good time, right? It's a good time to fail.
It is. It's a fantastic
It's a good time to fail. If you're going to do it, now's the time.
That's so true. And actually there was a post in a Facebook group of someone who's just like, so I realized like I hated my job and now I want to start a podcast or she wanted to be a podcast engineer. And the number of people who were like, don't do it. Now's a terrible time to start a business. And even the number of people I've seen are like, don't sell right now. If you have something that lights you up, that's going to get you out of bed every morning, do the damn thing.
That's right.
If this has shown us anything, it's like nothing is guaranteed. You have no idea if tomorrow you're going to be locked up at home for the next 6 months. Like who knows?
I know.
So just take the risk and do the thing because why the hell not?
I know. Says the millennial in the room.
I know.
That's why we keep her on hand because she's good at this.
I'm like, do the thing. I mean, this also, it's crazy. This will be the thing where, when I'm 60, I'll be telling my kids, well, I survived.
We are living through the crazy times. We are living through the history. We are living through history, guys. As somebody who studies history, but go back to the Hamilton episode, guys. Listen to the Hamilton episode.
How are we so ahead of our time? How is this possible?
Because I know the future. So I'm telling you.
It's our hippie rocks, you guys.
Pay attention.
It's true.
Be rebels. Think like rebels, guys. I want you to think like the rebels that you are. And just do the thing.
Yes.
All right.
That's our wisdom for the day. Do the thing. Take care of yourselves, though. Also, I know it's like crazy easy to get freaked out and stressed out. Allow yourself, like we said, feel the feels, take a walk, dust yourself off. And then if you want to build something big, like build it. I'm here for it. And we are here for you too. So if there is anything that we can support you in, if you have questions about tools we mentioned, if you want to get some help in launching your next big thing, we are here for you.
We certainly are.
So let us know how things are going for you. Any tools, just check in, let us know. We care about what's going on and we want to help you build whatever that next thing is. So shoot us up. No, hit us up.
Shoot us up. In fact, we're just sitting here waiting to be shoot it up.
Shoot me up. Hit us up on Instagram. We're at Skinfessional. I am at Hala Famala and Miss Sybil is at Your Skin Fitness Expert. So come find us, come say hey. Don't just lurk. Do say hey. Don't be creepy. Say hey. Don't be creepy. And then you can also call us
on our Skinfessional box. It's at 818-473-5277.
There you have it.
I know. So until next week,
keep your secrets to yourself.
Unless you're telling us.
Okay, bye.
Bye.